Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? So, I've been having a blast playing Frog in last epoch. Honestly, I've been slacking, and you will see that later when I showcase my gear. Because if you compare the planners and what I have right now, you might want to laugh at me. So please be gentle. I usually post video with way more end game gear, a final product. You know what I mean? Like if you followed me on Torchlight and before that on PoE, you saw that the build that I post, I usually have some measure of investment in them. But this time I went full SSF. I'm Circle of Fortune, and I've been slacking, playing like 2 hours a day, maybe less. So the gear is really bad. But the point of that is that it still killed Aberoth and it's still farming 300 plus corruption really easily. So what I want to say is that the build's good even without gear. All you need is the main item and then you're good. You're good to go. So here is some more footage of the build in the background. You can enjoy the mapping. It's pretty smooth, and if you pay very close attention, even though I lowered the volume, you can still hear the frog croaking, and that's just absolutely marvelous. Now, I want to talk about something that's a little bit sad, but as a small YouTuber, I don't have big community to defend me or anything like that, and I also don't have enough subscribers that my word mean anything online. So, I have to say stuff like, I didn't steal the build. Please don't mention me stealing the build. I had a big post on Reddit before it was, the release of the season. I also posted a video about it before any other content creator. I mean, the one that I found that also posted a theory crafted build for the frog did that after me. So, you can go back and check out the date and see if I steal it or not. So, yeah, also, when I took an idea from someone else, like I did on PoE, I mentioned it in the first 10 seconds of the video. I'm not stealing credit for anybody, and when I do stuff for myself, I'd like to keep the credit for that, please. Alright, so enough about that. Let's get into the build. Now, I told you that I had a bad gear, so I'm gonna show you real quick so you can witness the sadness that is my gear right now. And it's all about tier 6, 1 LP, and I have 2 tier 7, one on the chest, one on the relic, not even the dex roll, it's a minion damage. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to the planner to talk about the gear because I have nothing to show you on my side, except maybe my relic that are very good. Actually, I have some very good relic for the build. So that's the upside of my build. Everything else is just sad to watch, so let's go to the planner. And this is what the final version of the build is supposed to look like. So the first thing that you might notice that's different from other frog build is that I'm running 2 Naltos instead of the cleaver to play with the hint, or the 100 mace, RX bone, get them some armor shred and increase armor shred effect, right? This mace is not a bad idea, right? But for much higher corruption level, when the monster don't get one-shotted by my frog, basically. Because right now, it's only worse on aberoth, maybe. Otherwise, the bosses get shredded instantly. I really don't need any armor shred other than what I get on my totem. So you can refer to the planner. Now, what I need to mention is that the amulet and the glove are the most important parts because of mod increased area for minion. In case you don't know, the frogs that are coming from uh, summon anurok get scaled with AoE for minion. Every 1% increase AoE is 3% more damage, which means the amulet is about 120% more damage, and the glove is about 100% more damage. Uh, the uh, the helmet is close to 150% more damage, So this mode of AoE is the most important one, and you want to max it out. And as you can see on my gear, it's only tier 6, and it's very sad. Now, the second very important mode are the one that you get on your weapon, the amulet and the ring. I'm talking about the melee physical damage for minion, or the melee damage for minion. This is flat damage, and when you have that much scaling, every point of minion damage does a tremendous amount. So that's why I went for Du Altus. Also, I'm getting movement speed, and I value movement speed a lot. As you can see, my boots and my gloves are both also there because of the increased minion movement speed roll on them. When you have enough minion movement speed, then your frogs start to teleport around. And I will show you a little bit of that later. So if you keep watching the video, you'll see my frog leap around really fast. And that's because of this increased movement speed for minion. Very important, I think, and it feels very good to play with that, at least for mapping. And that's about it for the gear. There's nothing else to mention. The next most important role will be the dex. You want to get a lot of dex because the crit multi doesn't have a ceiling on scaling, whereas the strength on penetration kind of does have a lot of diminishing return compared to crit multi. So that's why I went full on crit multi. So let's talk a little bit about the skills. As you can see, I'm using the Summon Totem. And the reason why is that this is very easy to use. You get to a boss, you spawn the rings of totem around it, and then the boss is gonna get 20, 30 stack of red armor, and the frog are gonna blast him out of the way. So it's very straightforward. I don't need to care about it during my mapping, and I don't have to trade anything for it. Now, if I were to change the totem and get the wolf, well, in order to conserve the shred debuff, I had to swap the weapon, like I talked about earlier, and that means less movement speed and less DPS overall during my mapping, which I really don't like. So that's the first reason I don't like the wolf. The second reason is that the free wolf permanent bond actually remove one of my frogs. Because the helmet works differently than looking at the companion limit. It's looking at how much companion you have with you, and since you have one wolf with you, then it's gonna spawn one less frog. And that's second reason I don't like it, because the permanent bond doesn't work with the frog. Then, if you want to cast the all yourself, you have to summon a wolf. That's one less frog. And if you want to cast it in order to get the all, then you need to look at the uptime, right? And even with this 50% buff, the uptime on the all is less than 50%. So it's very bad. I'm not a big fan of buffs that have a low uptime and that are costing me permanent DPS. Because if I have to trade a frog, which is a permanent DPS, then I'll better get a really good buff, right? But it's not even that good because the uptime is not that great at all. That's the third reason I don't like the wolf is that the 4% chance and the 30% chance on kill will never happen just because of how low the DPS of the wolf is, and one wolf with a 4% chance on rare and boss will just never trigger during my mapping, right? I have no point of using that during my mapping. So it means I have to cast it myself, just adding one more buff to my rotation, and it's not even a 100% uptime, it's not even a 50% uptime, so I really don't like that. And the final reason why I don't like the wolf is that even if I were to take all of these tankiness node, the wolf will still going to die. And when the wolf dies, it's not like a frog. When a frog dies, I don't care. It's gonna respawn in 1 second and go back to the fight. If the wolf dies, then there's just a dead body on the ground and I have to revive it by AFK on it, which is just as fun as sitting bare ass naked on the cactus. So that's my final reason why I don't like wolf. And I think one reason is enough not to do it. If you have 4 reasons not to do it, I mean, that's enough for me just to get it out of the way. I just don't like it at all. It might be my autism talking, but you know, totem works very well. It feels good in my gameplay. That's what I feel like using, so that's what I'm using. Now, if you don't agree with me, just change it. Just have your doggy with you. It's fine. You don't have to copy me 100%. Just have fun. Remember, the most important thing, as I always says, the most important thing is to have fun. Now, one more thing about the skills. The Aether's Blessing is pretty hard to keep up all the time, especially if you have to spam it on every minion. But at least you can try, and it's gonna be pretty good if you do. On the other hand, the Frenzy Totem is very easy to keep up. It's very tanky, and duration is way higher than his cooldown. So it's very simple to get up. Now, finally, the Warcry buff. This is the most important one. If you don't get the other two up all the time, it's absolutely fine. It's not gonna be a big deal. But the Warcry is the most important buff. Why? Because the 100% increased crit chance is basically gonna take our frog as soon as we get 45 attunement from 50% base crit chance to 100%, which means that we can then remove these idols that have crit chance and replace them with these that have increased minion melee attack speed. And increased minion melee attack speed is a very important stat that is very scarce on our build. We don't get enough from the gear at all, and then very little from the tree. We only get some from the frenzy totem buff. It's very annoying to get. So being able to replace all our idols with increased minion melee attack speed is very good. The only downside is that we have to keep this Warcry buff all the time. That's why we are taking this 5-second cooldown plus the Warcry totem, so that the buff lasts longer than the cooldown, and then we can keep it up 100% of the time on the frogs. So that's about it. That's the most important thing to know about the skills and the changes that get implied once you get enough attunement. So back in game to take a really quick look at the passive tree, because there's only one thing that changed compared to the theory crafted one, and it's the Hawkwing. Because I misunderstood the way it works, and also haste for 1 second is just not enough. So that's why I removed this, and instead I will just take more point of Sky Warrior and Earthen Supremacy. And that's about it. Everything else stayed the same. So the idea of this passive tree is just to stack as much attribute as possible. So we get 8 attunement there, then 8 strength there, then a little bit of damage. Back to the Beastmaster, it's 8 strengths, then we get a little bit of damage, just so we can unlock 8 more strengths there, a little bit of attack speed, some flat damage, then Dex here, an additional companion, then again strength and Dex over here. Then on the Druid, we just get 5 points on the tanky armor node just to unlock strength plus attunement node. Then we finish by a little bit of damage so we can grab the attack speed. And on the Shaman, attunement, a little bit of damage, and attunement again. So it's all about grabbing as much attribute as possible. So last time I forgot to do a Weaver tree, so this time I won't. Now I first start by grabbing the little socket, because of the target farming at the beginning. It's pretty decent. Then I go and grab my basically free echo. As soon as I get an attribute one, the one that allows me to swap attribute, I'm putting it in both because it's pretty hard to proc. And it's also very good to change gear at the beginning, and you don't unlock it in the shop until much later. So that's why I rush this and put the attribute inside. Then I grab the next socket, and then I go for the champion socket. When that is done, I block beacon, and then I increase the champion with the spin and the spawn rate, and I also buff their loot a little bit. Then I buff the Rift Beast. Then I buff the Ember Drop. Then I buff the Lizard, because False Temple has a lot of Pine, and that works very well. Then I grab the Enrage, because you get a lot more Havoc Rune Enrage. And then finally, I'm blocking some Echo that I don't want to run, and the last point I put is the Pile of Rune. So sometimes it's useful. It is text, it was supposed to be only one. So yeah, that's it. The last 2 points are for the Pile of Rune, because sometimes you get lucky. And yeah, that's about it. That's my Wyvern tree, and that's what it is for the moment. Okay, so I went down in corruption because I'm about to destroy my own DPS, so I can show you the difference between move speed and with and without move speed on the minion. So, well, right now they're in attack mode, right? So they're gonna go around, and you're gonna see them leap around and attack monsters that are out of my screen, right? And you can see how fast they are going, right? Pretty good. Not great, but they're almost teleporting. Almost, right? Now, if I just swap a little bit around and get a lot more movement speed for my minion, then you're gonna see them. You see that? Look at them teleport. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Look at them teleport around. Boop, boop, boop. Granted, I just destroyed my DPS, right? I removed all the DPS from the weapon, the gloves. It's sad, right? But isn't it just so much more fun? Like, look at them teleport. It, boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. See how fast they're coming? Doesn't it feel so much better to just have them teleport around with a lot of move speed? I don't know. I think that's a lot more fun. So that's the reason why the build is like that. Now, there's something else that I want to show you. It's the difference between attack mode and defense mode. Uh, Usually, when I'm in a map like that, where this is basically a corridor, this is a very large corridor, right? Then I'm gonna stay in attack mode, because they're only gonna go forward, and they're gonna be killing the monster before the monster gets to me. Now, when I get to a zone like that, and monster can be on the right, they can be on the left, they can be on the bottom. When there's multiple direction, then I swap to defensive mode. I want the monster the frog to stay around me, so they can kill the monster that comes around me. If I leave them in attack mode, then they're not gonna come and defend me. And this way, when I'm in like an open area where the monsters are going all around me, then it's better to use the defensive mode. Now, as soon as I go back to a corridor mode, then I'm gonna go back to attack mode, so the minion can go and clear the way forward. You know what I mean? That's the idea. But as soon as I'm getting in an open area, I go back to defensive mode, and then this way, it's way safer for me to play like that, right? That's just quick stuff that I wanted to show you and talk about. And that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I hope you're gonna give the build a shot, because it's really fun. I'm having a blast with it. If I forgot anything, or if there's something you don't understand, just leave a comment and we'll answer it. I answer most of the question. Also, if you feel like I deserve it, please subscribe to the channel. That would help me a lot. Alright, have fun, guys. See you in the next one.